So, there is something that I hear quite often. Relapse is part of recovery. Is relapse part of recovery? Is it really? It depends on the individual. There are people that come into the path of recovery that relapse. So yes, relapse becomes a part of their recovery. But does it have to be part of everyone's recovery? Absolutely not. So what is relapse? It is a lapse in time of being sober for a little bit where you go back and you use or drink, and that is what's seen as relapse, right? But in reality, have you really relapsed, or have you taken a break from using or drinking? There are a lot of people that come into the path of recovery and they don't really want to stay sober. It might have been circumstantial. It might have been because of the courts. It might have been because a family member told you got to go get sober. A wife, a husband. If you don't get sober, you're not in my life. So they come into the path of recovery, whether it be through treatment, through the 12-step world, through whatever, but they only stay sober temporarily and then they relapse and go back to using again. So what I was told is if you're actually in the work of recovery, doing the 12 steps, or you're in treatment and then you go back and you use or drink again, that's a relapse. Other than that, it's just taking a break from these things. But no, regardless of the fact, you don't have to have that be part of your story. If you really get into the deep-rooted work that it takes to actually stay sober, if you delve deep into what it is that even makes you go back to the drugs and alcohol, if you can overcome the anxiety, if you can overcome the temptation, the urges to use again, and you can do that without having to actually use again, then you don't have to relapse. So it doesn't have to be part of recovery or your recovery. Everybody makes their own personal decision. If you've made the decision to stop, you can make the decision to stay stop, but there's going to be some work that needs to be done. If you don't know how to stay sober and you really are struggling, please reach out to me. 310-596-9356. I'm Pej.